Hey pups, Arby here, and welcome back to another art challenge video. Today's art challenge is redesigning the infamous Sonichu, Rosich, the chaotic combo, and Blake. Yes, I know it's a lot of work, even for me, but I got inspired by Project S&T's video of redesigning Sonichu, Rosich, and the chaotic combo. Before we dive right into the video, I want to say a couple things first. 1. I know for a well-known fact that Christian will more than likely hate these redesigns, and maybe even me for an old Don't Be video I did of them. Yes, I'm using they them pronouns. Speaking of which, 2. Yes, I know what I'm getting myself into. I'm just doing these redesigns for fun, and because of the inspiration S&T gave me after watching her videos. And 3. If Christian ever happens to come across this video somehow, please don't sue me. These are my own interpretations of your characters and my own versions of them. That being said, let's begin. Let's begin with the character that started it all, Sonichu. Let's be honest here, Chris's version of Sonichu is basically a Pikachu Sonic the Hedgehog fusion. So like with S&T's design, I decided to give him more a Pikachu-ish look without making him too similar to Sonic. As for his outfit, I figured I'd do something similar to S&T's, but with a few alterations, and kept the electric gloves from S&T's version of Sonichu. As for the rest of the design, I also kept the shoes and the spikes to his original design, mainly because I feel like they fit the character's design. As for the color, I went with the more Pikachu colors along with making the ear tips more gray than black. I also wanted to incorporate less colors than the original design had, because the original had more than just a few colors, too many to be exact. But I also want to do an homage to S&T's design, so I combined the two to make it a little bit special. Up next is Rosich. Once again, let's be honest here. Rosich is just Chris's version of Amy Rose with a messed up Raichu tail. So I incorporated more Raichu features to Rosichu's design, such as a trademark curly Raichu ears, a more updated Raichu tail, and I gained inspiration from S&T's outfit for Rosie, but with a little more simplicity. I also gave her a different hairstyle, while looking somewhat similar to Amy's, with a little bit of S&T's redesign in the mix, with the hair being slightly longer, along with it being a bit more curlier in some parts. I went with some more Raichu related colors, along with giving her a main palette that had the same rosy color, but with a lighter pastel touch. As for her outfit, I gave her some Mary Jane shoes, and gave them a cream color. And for her dress, I gave her a sundress with a rose pattern, with the roses being pastel pink, and her dress being a cream color to match her Raichu colors, and her shoes. I also gave her gloves. I decided to give them a slightly different look apart from Amy's or Rouge's gloves. I gave her little fighting gloves. I'm not really sure if she actually fights anyone in the Sonichu comics, but I had heard she gets all Hulk in one of the Sonichu issues, so I incorporated that and gave them a pastel orange color. I had a lot of fun playing around the designs and colors of Rosich, giving her a different design on her outfit and playing around with the Raichu colors, and giving her a more pastel rose color rather than that weird dark pink. I think this one is definitely a favorite of mine that I've done so far. And I haven't even done the chaotic combo yet. Up next we have Blake. I wanted to make him like Mimikyu, but then I also saw other designs of him with a hangry form of Mipako. So I did a mix of Mimikyu and hangry Mipako to the design. I also took notes that he looked more like Sonic if Sonic had Shadow's design, and looked less like Shadow, and more like Sonichu and had a Knuckles-inspired chest pattern. So I decided to make him more similar to Shadow if Shadow cosplayed a Mimikyu / hangry Mipako hybrid. I also wanted him to be more menacing and somewhat similar to Mewtwo in a sense, but also want to make him look a little bit more friendlier too. I kinda like this design better over the original Chris had with Blake. I mean, he was supposed to be more like Sonichu's clone mixed with Cherry Cola, which kinda doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it's not a bad concept, but his backstory doesn't make sense when you add the accidental dose of Cherry Cola into the mix. I feel like his backstory will be more of adding a different chemical or DNA rather than just Cherry Cola. Similar to the Powerpuff Girls in a way, if you ask me. Or an accidental mix of Cherry Cola with a chemical in the DNA. Yeah, that kind of makes a bit more sense. Sort of. Not really. I did want to add more to the design, but then I thought, nah, that'd be a bit too much for me. So I went with a Shadow, Mimikyu, hangry Mipako. Again, I kinda like it. Next in line we have Wild Sonichu. This is kind of where I get back to the S&T's inspired design, but I want to make it more like my own rather than S&T's designs. Now, I kept the Pisu aspect of the design because I figured it fit him the best. And Pisu does learn at least 2 grass type moves we know of so far, Grass Knot and Seed Bomb. As for the design, I went with a similar ranger design, but I took heavy inspiration from an Adventure Time character. I also added in some aspects inspired by Robin Hood, like with the hat and the bow and arrow, and the sword made from a bark from an oak or pine tree. That's pretty much all I gotta say on this design. Regardless, I'm proud of this one too. Next we have Bubbles Rosich. I kind of went for the Meryl design S&T had for her video, but I added a twist with mine. I kind of went for a water ballerina look with a swimsuit, and added on some seashells and doubloon-like jewelry, and gave her a semi-misty-ish type of look as a professional swimmer or swim teacher, but played around with the idea with a water ballerina look, with a mini water skirt on a one-piece swimsuit of sorts. I kept the wavy design on her redesign because I got inspired by S&T's redesign, and I loved it so much I just had to keep it in. I also added in the waterproof swim shoes to the design, and I loved how it looked. I also went with a light pinkish color, which was a mermaid pink and purple. I think this one was a bit easier to do, and I think this one is one of my favorites along with Rosich. Up next we've got Magi-chan. It was pointed out in Sati's video that Magi-chan was a pun on magician, so I went with the magician look for his design. Along with keeping the Alolan Raichu look as well, I wanted to give him a slight bit of difference. I went with a magician style of an outfit, but with a twist. I also kept the cloak look on his design from S&T's redesign, but I made it more of a robe of sorts. I got a little inspired by Harry Potter for this one. I also gave him a bit of a psychic imprint on his robe, and I think I like this one a lot. Also, I just want to say, out of the stories from this weird-ass universe, his story is more interesting because he was telepathically raised and trained by Mewtwo to learn magic and psychic powers. Next one we got is Punchie. His OG design is like racist Knuckles, so I definitely wanted that to be fixed, and couldn't wait to redesign him. I took some inspiration from Goku's design, but mixed it a bit with S&T's redesign with the D&D Monk plus Pikachu Libre. But I went with a more Goku outfit and mixed that with Pikachu Libre, and kept the vest crop top from S&T's redesign, as well as the Pokeball design to reference the magical starred Pokeballs that were in the comic, either referenced from Dragon Ball or copied, or you know what? I don't want to get into it, but I feel like I did a good job for Punchie. Finally, we have Angelica, your typical picture-perfect Christian girl raised by nuns, because apparently Christianity exists in this nonsensical weird-ass universe. I didn't want to reference S&T's redesign too closely, so I looked up a bunch of angel warrior outfits, since Angelica has angel wings and is a Christian. I wanted to keep the idea of her being an Emolga. The very few references I looked up were a bit sexual, so this didn't give me a lot of ideas. The safe for work kind, mind you. I gave her a black dress, and added a few white in some places, and gave her some plated armor on her design as well. I also gave her a mini sword to go with her design, as well as a cross necklace on her design too. I hope I didn't copy off of S&T's redesign of Angelica too much. That aside, She was a lot of fun to redesign. Alrighty, that was all the redesigns I could muster up for this challenge. Comment your favorite one down below. Also, if SNT is watching this, please don't be mad and sue me. I just got super inspired by your redesigns of the Sonichu characters, and I love them a lot. I'll link her videos down below. Check them out and subscribe to her channel. Also, Christian, if you somehow happen to be watching this, please stay away from me. These are my own redesigns of your characters. Don't sue me. Don't ask for my personal info and address. You're creepy. Your story had potential, but a lot of work needed to be done on it. Don't kill me, OG neckbeard of neckbeards. That being said, I'll see you in the next one, pups. Cue the outro. RP is out. Peace!